Hello Algebra students. Today our video is going to be a little bit different. I don't have my document camera hooked up because we're actually going to be using the internet and your browser to search for and use a graphing device. Okay, there's really not very many notes, so I'm just going to type them here in Pages and then switch back from the browser to here. So hopefully you'll be able to see and navigate through everything. Always you can pause things and rewind if you didn't catch something. So section 5 is using an automatic grapher. And we have graphing calculators in the room, but your computers can do so much more than the graphing calculators can that we're going to use your graphing or your computers instead. So open up whatever browser you choose, and you can just search for online graphing calculator. And you will see that there are multiple options. Okay. Hopefully this Desmos came up. This one is awesome. It does a lot of cool things. We'll use it more when we get better at graphing, and we'll look at all the cool things it can do. Feel free to bookmark this so that you know where to go when we go on and continue to do this on your test or for whatever. Okay. Hopefully you can either watch the video with someone while the other person is having Desmos up, or you can open up 2 windows or something so you can see what I'm doing and do it on your computer as well. Okay, this area over here is where you can type in your equations. And your equations have to be typed in as a y equals form. Okay, so if you ever have an equation that's not solved for y, you need to go ahead and solve for y in order for this to graph it. Okay, so that's the first big thing, is that we need to have all equations in y equals form to be able to graph. And just as a reminder, we're using the Desmos grapher online. Okay, alright, so flipping back over here, we can type in some equation, let's say 2x plus 3. And you see over here that that graph shows up. Okay, if you click down, you see this number 2 over here. So this would be my second equation. And we could do y equals 2x, well, it doesn't have to be 2, 5x minus 6. Okay, you notice that this is telling us what color it's in. Okay, here's how you delete them over here. You can play with this. If you don't want that one to show up, you can turn it off. So there's lots of things you can do over here. Notice I have kind of a mess over here. It's not solved for y, it's in 2 variables. And this is telling me right here that this isn't anything that the grapher understands. It can't graph it. So we need to say equals y. Okay, and then it shows up in green saying that yes, I'm graphing it. If you don't like to type, or you need something that isn't on your keyboard, down here there's a little keypad, and it gives you some more stuff. Okay, so if you need like a squared or something, you can use this keypad down here. Okay, so that's how you get your equations in there. Another thing we need to talk about is the window. Okay, we're going to talk about windows a lot, and the window is basically what you can see here. Okay, so my graph settings right here, this little wrench, it talks about the x-axis, and right now we're going from -10 to 10, which you can see on your graph right there. And your y-axis, this is where it's going. You can change that. So if you hit the y-axis little arrow, it allows us to change all of these things. Okay, so let's say I want the y-axis to go from 0 to 2. So it's just going to show me y is 0 down here, y is 2 up here. Okay. Then the step is, what do you want to count by? So maybe I want to count by 0.5 increments. So then you see it's counting by 0.5. Okay, so that's what this step is. You can uncheck this if you don't want to see the scale. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but you're welcome to do that. You can do the same thing with the x-axis, but again, this is talking about the window. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and talk about the window, and that's what you can see. Okay, and for the Desmos grapher, it's in the little wrench icon on the right. Okay, and then just select the X or the Y axis. Okay, to change those things. All right. Okay, so let's look at some other things that we might want to do. I'm going to type in a couple of equations. Y equals 4x minus 5. Okay, notice right now I can't really see anything that's important. I can't see where it's crossing the x-axis or y-axis. So something you can try to do is over here is your zoom options. You could always go to default, and this is the default for Desmos. And that was that 10 and 6 point whatever. So you can hit that always to go back there. Then mine doesn't allow me to use the square. But you can zoom out. Okay, and I can see everything I would want. It's kind of hard to see the difference between the X and the Y intersections. So maybe actually I want to zoom in. So there's some options. Again, if we would want to, let's just say I zoom out once. So right now, ask yourself, what is the window? The window would be negative 20 to 20 and negative 12 to 12. Okay, so going back up here to the window, if it's ever asking you what is the window, your answer should look something like negative 20 is less than, so this is my X, so X was all between negative 20 and 20, and then my Y, we're going to say 12. Negative 12 and 12. So that's how you would answer a question like that. What is the window that I'm looking at right now? And you would just say that X is going from negative 20 to 20, Y is going from negative 12 to 12. Okay? Then the last thing I want to talk about is how you could find certain points. So we're actually going to add another equation to this. Okay, something like that. Now, we're probably going to be interested here in this point that they intersect at. And this program does a really nice job of telling us exactly where the intersection point is. So it's at 0, negative 5. And if you want any certain point, you can just click and drag, and it'll tell you the XY point. On most programs, this is called the trace feature. Okay? But this computer program does an awesome job of telling you what point you're at. Okay? All right, and that is Desmos.